If your FPS is bad and your budget is limited, the easiest way to waste money in 2025 is to upgrade parts in the wrong order. You spend, swap hardware, and games still feel trash. Instead of chasing random one-off tips, you need a simple, honest upgrade order that puts the biggest real gains first and leaves cosmetic stuff at the very end. That is what this guide is for. Step 1 is free. Fix the software side. Before you buy anything, clean up Windows, disable useless startup apps, kill background recording you never use, trim overlays, and move your main games to SSD if you already have one installed. A badly tuned system can make decent hardware feel weak. If you skip this and jump to hardware, you might pay to fix a problem that settings alone would have solved. Step 2 is storage. If you are still booting from a hard drive, an SSD does not magically increase FPS numbers, but it changes how the game feels. Load screens are shorter, texture streaming is smoother, open worlds hitch less when you turn quickly, and out-tabbing is less painful. For budget gamers in 2025, running your OS and main games on SSD or NVMe is non-negotiable. If Windows and your favorite titles still live on a mechanical drive, fix that before anything else. Step 3 is RAM. 8 GB was fine a long time ago. Today, modern games, voice chat, browsers, launchers, and overlays chew through it easily. When you run out of memory, Windows starts swapping the disk, and even with an SSD, that feels terrible in-game. If you only have 8 GB, your next upgrade should almost always be 16 GB of dual-channel RAM. Match sticks at a sensible speed for your platform. This does not just help games. It makes the entire system smoother while you play, stream, or keep a browser open. Once storage and RAM are in a decent place, Step 4 is fixing power and cooling. This does not sound like an FPS upgrade, but it absolutely is. A weak or dodgy power supply and bad airflow force your CPU and GPU to throttle, especially in long sessions on hot days. Check the label on your PSU. If it is a no-name gaming brick with suspicious wattage numbers, plan to replace it with a real, honestly rated unit from a known brand. At the same time, make sure your case has a mesh front or at least decent intake, a couple of intake fans, and one exhaust. Clean your dust filters. A cool, stable system keeps boost clocks up and stutter down. Only when those foundations are solid do we talk about the popular step, the GPU. Step 5 is the graphics card, but with rules. First, match it to your monitor. If you play at 108p 60Hz, do not blow your whole budget on a card built for 4000 high refresh. Aim for something that can comfortably push the games you actually play above your refresh rate at the settings you care about. If you are on 144op or 4K, then yes, a stronger GPU becomes essential, but it still has to fit your PSU, case, and CPU limits. Step 6 is the CPU. Many people try to force modern high FPS gaming on old low-core processors. You can see it when your GPU usage is low, but your CPU is slammed at 90 to 100% in busy scenes. If you have already moved to SSD, upgraded to 16 GB of RAM, cleaned up Windows, fixed airflow, and your GPU is decent, the next big upgrade is the platform. CPU, motherboard, and maybe RAM if you are jumping to a new generation. This is not a cheap step, so it should come after the easier wins. After that, Step 7 is the optional, but nice upgrades. Better coolers, nicer cases, quieter fans, and RGB. These things make your rig nicer to live with and can help tone and noise, but they rarely move your frame rate as much as storage, RAM, GPU, or CPU. They belong at the end of the FPS order, not at the beginning. Now, let's talk about how this order feels in real life. Imagine a mid-range rig from a few years ago. A quad-core CPU, 8 GB of RAM, a mid-tier GPU, and a hard drive. If you only change the GPU, your benchmark numbers might jump, but the desktop still feels sluggish. Games still load slowly, and out-tabbing is painful. You spend most of your money on the wrong step. Now imagine you start with an SSD and 16 gigabytes of RAM instead. Suddenly everything feels responsive. And the same GPU delivers smoother results because the rest of the system is no longer dragging it down. In another example, think about someone who keeps buying just one more fan or slapping on RGB strips while ignoring power and airflow design. The case is still a closed box, the PSU is still sketchy, and every summer they fight with random shutdowns. If they followed the upgrade order, they would first stabilize power and airflow, then decide if the next step is GPU or CPU. Cosmetics would wait until the foundation is actually safe and stable. You can even use this order when you have almost no budget. Maybe you can only afford one upgrade every few months. Start with whatever step you are currently failing hardest. If your drive is full and still mechanical, fix that first. If RAM is constantly maxed out, fix that next. If temperatures are out of control, prioritize airflow and cleaning. Only when those fires are under control should you start saving for the bigger, more exciting hardware pieces. This mindset also saves you from hype. When a new GPU launches with flashy charts, you can calmly ask, does this slot naturally into my current system, or will it expose a weak PSU, old CPU, and tiny RAM? If the answer is that it would just sit there waiting on other parts, you know to keep your wallet closed and focus on the next logical step in your own upgrade order instead of chasing trends. So the real 2025 Budget FPS upgrade order looks like this. Fix Windows and background junk. Move to SSD for OS and games. Get to 16 gigabytes of dual-channel RAM. Stabilize PSU and airflow, then upgrade GPU, then CPU and platform, and only then spend money on comfort and cosmetic parts. When you think this way, you stop asking, how do I get more FPS? And start asking, what is actually holding my system back right now? That question is what leads to smart upgrades instead of regrets. If this guide gave you a clearer roadmap for your own build, follow and subscribe for more straight talk PC tuning and budget upgrade advice.